If you have many priorities, you have none. When everything seems like a priority, nothing is. They go from one burning fire to the next burning fire to the next burning fire, and you're just a firefighter all day long. And if you have it that way, you're not going to be effective. If you have many priorities, you have none. This is a truth that I hit on every day myself as an entrepreneur, and many of the clients that I work with hit on. And they continue to hit on because every time you grow, you get new things that demand your time, that seem important, but are not the thing you actually should work on, but you newly have to figure out because the thing you just worked on has lost to be the thing that you have to work on. And this is the dichotomy, this is the forever problem of being a growth minded individual and also for being an entrepreneur who has a business that is growing. And that dichotomy, that difficulty that many people experience is also the same thing that gets them stuck at the level where they're at. So it doesn't matter if you have 10 employees, if you have 20, if you have 50, if you have 1,000, you gonna hit a certain level with what you're currently doing, and whatever it is you need to do to progress to the next level requires you to stop doing other things that you're currently doing. And today I had a session with a client of mine, and he told me that he had this long list of priorities. And I asked him, what of those has to be done? Which one of those has to be done, and which one of those would you survive if it wasn't done? And they all needed to be done, and they were all urgent. And when somebody presents that to me, I don't say that's not true because it seems true to that person in that moment. But if you really start looking at asking some challenging, probing questions, you get to that that's never the case because no thing has the same urgency as the other. You always have something that either time wise or importance wise is higher up the ladder, and your ability to get that thing done first before you move on to the next priority is your ability to move the business in the direction that it needs to move in. And then as we had this conversation, we got into what has a lot of people struggle with that topic, which is that how things appear for you is as a priority when they appear, because we're really bad at focusing on something that's not an immediate sight when something else pops up. So I'm going to repeat this one. When everything seems as a priority, nothing is. And it's impossible to be effective if you have many things you focus on at the same time. It's just from your mind, how you function, how your brain works, it will not leave you empowered in whatever it is you're trying to achieve. So with this gentleman, I started looking into how he was allowing that to happen. And it's something that not only he struggles with, but many people that I talk to struggle with. And I used to struggle with. And there will be a time when I struggle with it again because there will be new demands on my time. And then I have to look at this whole thing myself again. And that is, he wasn't protecting his time. And here's another thing I said to him: if you don't protect your time, nobody will. He basically had all those priorities because other people were dictating what his priorities are by giving him tasks that they said were extremely urgent and needed to be done yesterday. And that could happen because his phone was basically on and next to him all the time while he was working. So if you want to get a hold of him, you just call him and you have him. And it doesn't matter what he's working on, it can be interrupted. And this is one way that I see repeatedly with people that I talk to, how they make sure that everything can stay a priority, but not the thing that they choose as a priority, because they allow the world to enter and determine what they should focus on. And again, If everything seems like a priority, nothing is. And what's priority will only be priority as long as you focus on it, because as soon as your focus goes away from the priority, it's not your priority anymore, but something else became your priority. And that's, I would say, the secondary problem. First, you define what's actually priority, but then your ability to stick with what's priority is the next big challenge. And that challenge, many people encounter, and I think entrepreneurs encounter in a particular way, because usually when you start building your business and also in later forms, there are just many people that want your input, want your decisions, want to know what you think, want to know where to go, want to know when to go. And your ability to fight that off for the moment and build a system in the background, for example, that handles those demands on your time, or just educate your team on how you want them to interrupt your time and when, is something that a lot of people miss, because they go from one burning fire to the next burning fire to the next burning fire, and you're just a firefighter all day long. You're putting out fires left, you're putting out fires right, and then you never get to this moment where you put yourself out of it and look at it and be like, what's actually priority? Like, what's the one thing that I need to get done that nobody else can do that will provide the most value to the business? And most people take zero time to think about that. And that, I think, should be first priority for most of the founders that I've spoken to, for most of the entrepreneurs that I know, is actually to get clear what's priority. And then when you got clear, get clear about how you actually prevent yourself from sticking with that priority. I give you some more examples. So your email account. You get notifications of your email box. You work on a computer that allows you to see when a new message lands. You see when a client closed. You see when Tante Millie wrote in your WhatsApp group, because WhatsApp is open and running on your computer while you have to do something very important that you said is the thing that needs to happen. And if that doesn't happen, then the whole business is in danger. And then you sit there and you have 20 different open windows that can distract you. And you do that with your computer, you do that with your phone, you do that with the people in your business, you do that with your own mind and the thoughts you allow to run amok and the things you give attention to. And if you have it that way, you're not going to be effective. When everything seems like a priority, nothing is. And when everything can interrupt you, you can't have focus. It's impossible. You are wired to react to stimulus and danger and so forth. And if somebody gives you a call and says it's really important, the first thing your mind will do is to imagine a horror scenario. And then you'll have to attend to this. It's really difficult to not to. But it's very easy if that message just doesn't reach you and you're able to finish the task you have in front of you that will take you an hour, and after an hour you call back and the important thing is still there. Very hard for most entrepreneurs to do, and very simple in its principle. So I hope when you listen to this, you got present to some of the things that you do, and instead of continue doing them, you choose to get clear what's actually priority. What's the one thing that if I get it done adds the most value to the business? And then you do that. And then you ask yourself again, what's the one thing that if I get it done adds the most value to the business? And then you do that. And then when that's done, you ask yourself, what's the one thing that I need to do that adds the most value to the business, or whatever mission you're driving forward? And then you get that done, and then you go to the next thing. Instead of 50 things that all needed to be done yesterday, and then 20 people that hammer into your inbox to get your attention and your input and all of it, and you have absolutely no system to work with at all. Sounds familiar? If it is, let me know in the comments, and I'll send you a resource that helps you get clearer on what's your priority. If you want some personal help with that, you can also leave a comment below, or you just click one of the links and hop over to my website. And otherwise, you just stay here and enjoy the free content where I'm sharing some of the client stories that come through, where I'm sharing some of my own experience. and where I'm sharing some distinctions that are really, really, really useful to master what? Yourself and the domain of business and leadership. So I hope I see you on the next one.